When I first crossed paths with Daniel, my ex-husband, I wasn't in a good place. I carried extra weight, battled insecurity, and rarely saw anything good when I looked in the mirror. But Daniel never once made me feel unattractive. He cherished me even in moments when I couldn't find the strength to care for myself. We kept things simple: an intimate wedding, a small apartment, and a life built on quiet contentment. Daniel was steady, gentle, and hardworking. No matter how drained he came home after long shifts, he always carved out time for me. But somewhere down the line, things shifted. I joined a gym, hired a trainer, and dedicated myself to reshaping my body. Slowly, people began to notice: coworkers, strangers in coffee shops, even acquaintances online. Compliments rolled in, and for the first time in years, I felt visible. What I didn't realize was how much I was letting that validation change me. As my confidence grew, I began to look at Daniel differently. He still wore his old shirts, still clocked in at the same job, still lived that calm and predictable life. Meanwhile, I had discovered stilettos, luxury hair salons, and champagne brunches with new friends who barely knew Daniel's name. That was when Leo appeared. Charismatic, successful, and smooth with his words, he made me feel electrified in a way I thought I had been missing. I convinced myself I deserved someone like him, a man who looked as polished and ambitious as I now felt. Without giving Daniel a fair chance to understand what I was going through, I told him I wanted out. He didn't plead or fight. He only looked at me with wounded eyes and asked if I was certain. I said I was. Believing I was upgrading, I chose to walk away. Daniel packed a few belongings, left the apartment to me, and disappeared from my daily life. At first, I felt liberated. Life with Leo seemed glamorous: expensive dinners, quick trips out of town, extravagant gifts. But as time passed, the shine dulled. He was self-absorbed, short-tempered, and dismissive of my feelings. He liked having me on his arm, but he never truly listened. I found myself missing Daniel: his patience, his tenderness, the way he noticed little details about me no one else ever had. The emptiness struck hardest one stormy night. I sat in the apartment, waiting while Leo ignored my messages, out partying with friends. In my hands, I held a chipped mug Daniel had once surprised me with on an ordinary Tuesday. The silence in that moment felt unbearable. That was when the truth landed like a stone. I hadn't traded up, I had traded love for shallow attention. Desperate, I tried reaching out. I sent Daniel long apologies, admitting my mistake, explaining everything. I called, emailed, even mailed a letter to his workplace. No answer. One by one, I discovered I was blocked everywhere. To him, it was as if I had never existed. I couldn't fault him. I had walked away so casually, assuming he would always be there if I changed my mind. I never imagined he would find the strength to cut ties completely. Then came the rumors. Friends whispered that Daniel was seeing someone, a kind-hearted teacher. One day, I stumbled across a photo of them together at a local festival. He looked radiant, lighter, freer than I had seen him in years. That smile used to be mine. Now, it belonged to someone else. I couldn't help but dwell on the details I had once overlooked: how he brought me tea when I was sick, how he left sweet notes on the bathroom mirror before work. Leo never did things like that. His affection always came with strings attached, while Daniel's love had been unconditional. Eventually, I gave up trying to reach him. It was clear he had moved forward while I was the one left behind. I began working on myself, but the guilt never faded. I realized I hadn't lost Daniel because our bond was weak. I lost him because I had taken his devotion for granted. The hardest lesson of my life became clear: being admired is not the same as being loved. I had chased validation and sacrificed something genuine. No matter how confident I now appear on the outside, there is still an emptiness that no stranger's compliment can fill. If I could turn back time, I would hold Daniel close, thank him endlessly for loving me when I couldn't love myself. But life doesn't rewind. It only leaves you with lessons, and I learned mine in the most painful way possible.